Welcome to the first of the Color Compare viewer request episodes. This is just something I'm going to do as these requests come in, and basically the idea here is I have compared all of these different colors on the channel before, but maybe not necessarily in the same video. And sometimes it's a little hard to compare between videos, so I am offering to film something like this if you want me to. And a couple of folks have reached out about this, and that is all the different browns and tans and sand colors and all that just kind of seem to flow together. And so here we have all of those kinds of colors. So we start with our very dark browns, and those were, all in one video, and we get to this Gore-Grunta fur, and we notice that it kind of deviates maybe from the usual brown. In fact, it's kind of in the realm of oranges, and so I have brought in the oranges to kind of help us see where does Gore-Grunta fall in these oranges, and the answer is it's kind of this orangey brown color, but there it is up against the oranges. It's definitely an orange-hued brown. Excellent for fur or for some really warm-toned woods and things. Really like that color a lot. So there you go with the oranges. Well, we've got the oranges and this yellow out here. We're kind of going to look and see where does Nasdreg yellow and that kind of fit into there as well. And we're kind of in that kind of maybe darker side of the yellows and a little bit away from the orange. Sand Golem's definitely also kind of that orangey yellow color, but there you go, it popping out there. It is definitely still, I would say, on the brown side, but also kind of has that orange hint to it. Then we also have hardened leather, which is interesting because it's a very light color for leather. It's like an untanned or undyed kind of leather. I really like that color a lot. Of course, snakebite leather in here as well, and so kind of worth seeing where that falls on that spectrum. The other color that is kind of stuck in here is this rattling grime. And grime is an interesting color here because it almost looks gray. It's not quite, you could call that gray probably, right? So, does it fit in the browns, or is it actually better in the grays? And I think I left it out of my gray video, or certainly I've had some folks ask about it in terms of how does it look amongst the grays and the browns and things. So I want to kind of get it in here and look. And we see that it is definitely on the, so there on the bottom, definitely on the warm side of those grays. Let's put the silicanum next to it and see kind of how that looks. There it is. In fact, it's kind of like these grays, but maybe a little bit dirtier. So it's not really a brown, it's not really a gray, it's kind of its own unique thing hanging out there. So definitely a welcome color to the range. As we move down into these hardened leather and such, we do have the idea of where do the bone and sand colors kind of fit in. Especially, Agorist Dunes, how close are we getting with some of these colors here? And here we go with Agorist Dunes. It's definitely an orangey yellow tinted kind of color, but it's a lighter version of all these snake bites and Nasdrags and Sand Golem and such. And then even more of a sandy, less yellow, or that skeleton horde and pallid bone, but still leaning towards that yellow side. In fact, just for completeness, let's go ahead and bring back the yellows and oranges, and you can see we're, definitely different from, but a similar feel to that Zealot yellow, just with definitely darker recesses where the Zealot is decidedly orange shaded in those recesses there. So it's kind of got a different feel, a little less warm, which is nice, but still quite nice. Quite nice colors there. Then, while we're talking about hardened leather, that's one color that did not make it into the flesh and skin video, and I brought back the flesh and skin colors here to kind of see, all right, where does hardened leather fall on here? You notice it's a little extra orangey, so that's kind of hard to do for like if you're going for a humanoid skin tone, to use something like hardened leather that's that orange. You know, it's certainly not like a sand golem, but I thought it'd be interesting to see it up against these tones, because I mean, there's nothing saying you have to use these for skin. They could be used for a bunch of other things. But, you know, kind of picking, do we want to go on to this more kind of red or pink toned, or do we want to be on this yellow or orange tone? Granted, of course, that we're definitely going a little darker on the on these colors over here, the yellows and browns. So there we go. I do think in the flesh video I did put the skeleton horde and pallid bone and stuff up against these, just to kind of show that the flesh and skin aren't bone colored. Okay, come on. These sticks get unruly the more you have at the time. So I'm going to try to show you the names here. There we go. So you can see definitely a different underlying tone there. So kind of pick what you want. You know, it's your model. You get to pick which color works best for what you are trying to paint. And there are a whole bunch of options here for sure. All right, well, there is a big, giant kind of color cross compare. I'm not going to give any opinions in this video of which one would I buy if you could only buy one or whatever. This is more for if you're looking at a wide range thinking, I really don't know what I'm going for. Now you kind of know your options, you know, kind of if we're in the browns or get towards this Gorgonta fur, the rattling grime, or if I'm more in this, you know, kind of yellowish, orangish area, am I in the bones or the skin tones or the grays or what? I think if you're in any of these kind of colors, you're going to find what you're looking for in this range. Well, let me know if there's some gaps here. I think this covers just about anything I can think of, but there's always those times where you just can't quite find that right color. And I'm always looking for some of those in some other non-contrast paints personally. So maybe I'll make a video about that journey in a little while. Alright folks, I hope this was helpful and answered some of those viewer questions for comparing colors across videos. Let me know what other colors you'd want to see in a big side-by-side like this. Should I set up a whole rainbow of the, you know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple? Or what should I do? Let me know and I'll film it. We've got the rest of the contrast paints also coming up soon on the channel, so be watching for those on these Monday Color Compare videos. Alright, hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Take care. Let's get gaming.